We continue with our geometric construction. We now focus on objective 1G. We're still using geometrical instruments. And this time we're going to draw an obtuse angle. So when the central point of the protractor is placed on the right end, we want to make sure we see what happens from both ends. So if we put it on this end, notice that the zero that's touching the baseline is now on the outer set of numbers. So we will ignore the inner set of numbers now and focus on the outer set of numbers. So these are the values we are looking at: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, the blue values. Most protractors don't come in color, but I use this because it will help us to visualize better what's actually going on. So we want to draw a 125-degree angle. I didn't want to use a value that was already seen on the protractor because there will be times you'll be called to use these numbers in between here. Notice there are 10 marks in between, and in between here would be a unit of 5. If you get to one of these, we want to get to 125. We're using the outer zero: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, and then halfway through here would be 125. That's where we want to put our point. And once we put that point there, we can move the protractor out of the way and then draw a line from this end point through the point we marked. So we will make a mark at the outer 125 point mark as opposed to the inner. And we'll draw our line. So now we have a 125-degree angle. This is an obtuse angle because it's greater than 90. And students should always be aware the difference between an acute angle and an obtuse angle. So even if you make a mistake and you look at the angle, if it's wider than 90 and the value they give you was less than 90, you have to be able to tell it just by sight. So this angle should never be confused with, I think, 55. Let's bring the protractor back in. So if you were using the green number, say, by accident, you might think this is a 55-degree angle. Or if you were trying to do 125 and you made the mark here, and then you have the angle coming in. So if it's less than the size of the letter L, that's going to be an acute angle. You need it to be wider if it's more than 90. So we must be aware how to tell the difference of an acute angle and an obtuse angle by sight. Okay, I'm just pointing that out. I've been teaching for a couple years, and sometimes my students they mix up the numbers because they're using the wrong set of numbers. And you're learning, so you make mistakes, and that's understandable. Nobody cares if you don't know it today. Just as long as you learn it before the exam, that's what's important. Okay, so we want to label this angle. We're going to use our capital letters for the 3 points, and then we're going to put in an arc in between here to show the size of the angle. So this is angle A, B, C. B is the vertex this time, and you put in an arc, and this is going to be 125. So we clearly will label our angles after drawing it.